So a couple of topics to discuss this evening. One is big news that we haven't even reported this yet. Probably other places have, but the Musson group, Musson Jamaica, is about to acquire $1 billion worth of additional shares in Seprod. So explain what are the implications for this, because Musson already owns a stake in Seprod, right?
Yes, Musson's already owned through directly and to another subsidiary, about 24.4% and another nearly 8% of Seprod. Now, they have acquired a tad more, which brought them over that 50% limit and 50% boundary, I should say. And of course, that triggers a stock exchange rule. Musson is a very large conglomerate, owned largely by our Caribbean, West Indian, Jamaican owner, principals, and it operates in probably does business in probably about 30 countries. Caribbean, North America, Latin America, and beyond. And on the Jamaican market, it has several companies already listed that it has significant ownership structure in. They are, of course, PBS. Everyone knows Seprod, yes, already have probably about 33% before this new acquisition. PBS General Accident. Of course, Ace Bryden, which is an indirect ownership through Seprod. Seprod owns about in excess of 62% of Ace Bryden, which is largely domiciled Ace Bryden in Trinidad. They aim to list it. It's now listed on our exchange. They aim to list it in Trinidad. So it, again, will provide some cross-listed trading opportunity, arbitrage opportunity for you, the investing public, right? Due to price differences. And of course, there are some other popular local companies that are private. Geddes Grant, we have heard about that from we're small. We know about Canopy Insurance. And of course, there's Felton. So it's a very large conglomerate, multi-billion dollar, probably significantly valued. And it is taking up some additional shares in Seprod. And that has triggered the JC rule, regulation 12.1 and 26.1. And I think this rule, I can't say why this rule was created, but what it does, it gives you, the minority shareholder, an opportunity to decide whether you want to be a partner in this business with this significant shareholder. It's a mandatory offer that must be made. I don't believe they have an intention of delisting the company. No, I don't think so, because they have said that they will purchase a maximum additional amount of 13.948 million shares, and they have stated that price. And the stock is now trading above that price. I've stipulated at $78 per share. And I've given some timelines, and that will be, disseminated to you sometime later, and perhaps already to several brokers on the stock exchange website. That the stock is now trading in excess, trading at probably about $90 already. So again, and the stock is highly valued. In fact, our research recommendation our significant major research on it was last November, and it was recommended as a overperform, as a strong stock to buy. And I remember the stock when it was probably at about $29, $30 just a few years ago. Right? So buy stocks, especially now when prices are quite cheap. But back to that. So they must make this mandatory offer. I don't think they have an intention of delisting the stock, and that's not the first time. We have had significant takeover of companies, and they had to, put forward that mandatory offer, but they have stated explicitly, as well as some by how they structured the offer, really had no intention of delisting, and this is the case with Seprod. So that they will spend in excess of $1 billion Jamaican dollars to acquire these shares. They are not telling you that you must sell. They are simply inviting you to sell. They must make that offer. So if you believe the company has good value and it is a significant part of your portfolio, then hold it. An indication of the value of this company is that since this offer was made, the stock price has surged, trading as high as $90.
I can imagine.
Yes. So that is significantly above the offer price. So it means that, again, if you want to take advantage of this price movement, you can sell in the market now. Hope that there's a correction later on after the offer has expired, and then you can buy it back. So there are various little tactics you can use to maximize this opportunity. But as it is now, they must make that mandatory offer, and they have. And the lead broker in that, of course, is JMMB Securities. But you can buy it to execute the transaction to any brokerage house.
Strong link, sir. Come better than that. $120 just right. Don't be greedy, strong link. Come on now.
Well, I'm sure it will. Since acquisition of Ace Bryden, There probably has been a 300% increase in revenue. Of course, acquisition does that, because you're amalgamating line items, including revenue, profit, cost structure, balance sheet, you name it. So that has happened. In addition to that, we know Seprod went through a period where one of their major warehouse was burnt down, and they were spending big money in 2021. Well, with the new warehouse, that cost would have, dissipated in 2022. So the point is that just going back several years back, the stock was cheap, quite cheap. It was $4. I remember one time in lieu of the cash dividend, the offered shares in Epley. So this company has really been significantly beneficial to the investing public. They have rewarded significantly the investing public, and there's much more value left in it. So
and they're a great dividend, and they're a great dividend paying company too.
Great dividend paying company. And from what I know about their business operations, they are contributing significantly to the development and growth of micro and small businesses in terms of their productive facility that they offer to many small, young entrepreneurs just coming into the manufacturing business.
So Seprod, definitely one to watch for 2024. Another major bit of news, Clive, is the Bank of Jamaica planning to introduce an electronic Know Your Customer database later this year. So what's that all about, and how will this change the banking system? We actually spoke about it last night with Chantal and Money Michelle.
It's interesting. We think of competition as simply pricing and maybe costing, or the availability of a volume of goods, and we call that competition. But sometimes the way we do business, the ease of doing business, is the first start in freeing up resources, freeing up business enterprise, and therefore, making the environment more competitive. Interestingly, I don't want to divert too much from this, but remember the government, through the regulatory authorities several years back, spoke about the portability of telephone cell numbers. So it makes it easy now. That drives competition. Why? If you can easily move your number and keep that same number that you have had for X plus years, the competitors will have to tighten up in terms of how they offer your service and costing. In the banking sector, though, KYC, one of the mitigating factors of persons moving account or moving funds from one bank to the other is that opening a new account elsewhere is very tedious. It is one of the hardest in Jamaica, and persons will tell you from any walk of life, including business corporations, that opening an account, the KYC, the due diligence required, is so significantly onerous that it prevents them from taking the next step. So what the BOJ is doing is creating a template or a central unit, almost like a depository where you can deposit the shares and then move it across different entities as you feel like. But the information here now is that when you wish to move, rather than collecting that information from the individual having the effort of finding your reference, all these different bills, proving your income, your transaction history, all of that will be in a database, and it can be easily accessed by the new entity that you wish to open the new account with. So the ease of doing business, again, is what also aids and assists the competitiveness of the environment. And it lowers cost across the board, because it means then that the cost of this transaction, which many times you are charged for paper, they will tell you processing fees that should be reduced, perhaps eliminated. It means also that because you can move your investable resources from one entity to the next, entities might be forced to offer you better returns on your funds. Right? So it really aids the economy, it aids the investing public, it aids the individual, and it betters the company too, who through time gets more efficient and leaner.
Wonderful. I hope this comes into effect very soon, because trust me, the regulations are just too much. So before we go, Clive, I have a question. Well, it's not a question, it's a comment, but I'm going to ask a question based on this comment. Nana Sen says, Seprod is overvalued at a P ratio of 21. Now I'd rather buy Massy. So what's the play here, Seprod or Massy?
Okay. PE 21. Okay. Well, I could revise that. I have a little lower PE here. Massy is... Seprod is in the food processing distributive manufacturing business. Massy is a more broader conglomerate. Massy is into finance, it was in insurance, it is in distribution, it is in retailing, supermarket, etc. And food processing. So it's much, much broader, much, much bigger. And it is in a broader market. Seprod is largely domiciled in Jamaica. Of course, it has a significant ownership of Seprod, and that is in Trinidad. Right? So they are slightly differentiated in terms of their size and their reach. Massy is in several countries, including manufacturing and distributing facilities in several countries, including some Latin American countries. So let me look at the metric here. Now, I have Seprod here. Well, you said 21, 21 times. I have a little less PE here. Of course, just compared to the sector, I have a manufacturing sector. Again, we might different in little minor ways. I put it among the group of Berger, Cement, Broilers, Salada, Seprod, and Wysinco. I know like Salada, Seprod, Wysinco may be considered in the same business lines and probably easier comparable. Let me look at the of Massy. Let me see. I should have that. I'm looking at a sheet here and I'm searching for the information. So please just see with me. And my eyesight is not so good. And the sheet has so much information that I really have to, strain my eyes a little bit. Right? But I'm just looking for some metric here for Massy. Okay, Massy Holdings. Yes, Massy is cheaper, just using the metric of price to earnings. That is the PE, which is the earnings per stock unit. How can I put that again? PE, price earnings ratio. You pay a particular price for a stock, $1. It is the profitability of each stock unit. And a lower PE, right, means that the stock price is cheaper. Per $1 earnings, you're paying less. So you're paying, well, I have a figure here of 9.92 PE for Massy, which is lower than Seprod that I have here for about 15 plus. Right? So Massy is definitely much cheaper. But there are other dynamics here that you should consider. Massy is cross-listed, yes, so you can take advantage of arbitrage opportunity. Seprod isn't. That's another plus for Massy. But its main, because it's domiciled in Trinidad, it is subjected to the macroeconomic, movements, fiscal policies of the Trinidadian government, etc. So that is another risk factor that you may have to think of and consider. Its operations is diversified, though, more so than Trinidad, which means that it has revenue coming from different streams, different entities, well diversified, different currencies. So that makes it a little bit more safer. And I think it has potential for growth. And because it recently sold this insurance business, it is well capitalized. So I don't think it is short of capital at all. It presents a good buy. I would say, though, that you would not want to. It's a matter of balancing your portfolio. You should acquire a little of Massy, yes, but you should also have a little of the Seprod. And also consider dividend yield. I believe, though, I should have the figure here that the Massy dividend yield might be a little higher than the Seprod. So Massy
really? I thought it was lower. I feel like Seprod paid nice and Massy kind of.
Well, Seprod has increased. Nice. Yeah, Seprod has increased their dividend payout recently, but Massy is in a stronger currency. That's one. And they also have increased their dividend payout. Massy is a good stock and a good company to invest in.
So either or, just buy both?
I would say both. I would say both. There are some differences to them that the risk profile is slightly differentiated because of the nature of the business where they're domiciled, the whole economic conditions that can be impacted by them, fiscal conditions of the respective country. Seprod is domiciled in Jamaica, Massy is domiciled in Trinidad, right? The diverse market, they are differentiated slightly.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that. And just to reiterate to our viewers, this is not financial advice. Although Clive is a financial advisor, he is not your specific financial advisor. So please consult your licensed advisor. Yes. Preferably they're at JMMB for financial advice specific to your goals and needs. And Clive's contact information is in the description as well, if you want to link up with him and with JMMB. Thank you so much, Clive. That was great.
You're most welcome. And thanks for having me again.